We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing this. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back with you with another new what if for you guys. And this is a what if I've been thinking about for a good while, mainly because the premise doesn't sound too off on what I was thinking about for it, to be honest. And that is, what if Will was a dragon witch from Dragon Star Varnir? Basically a pretty niche and not as well prevalent JRPG for that of Switch and PS4 back in the day. And honestly, looking back, this was one of the most ambitious and one of the most fun JRPGs I've played in a long ass time. Unfortunately, the PS4 version got censored to hell, but I still enjoyed it either way. I won't lie, I would have enjoyed a sequel in the future, but hey, things like that, we can't always get what we always want. But that's beside the point. The point is, the idea of Will having the powers of a dragon while still actually having magic and still keeping to his ideas of basically being a badass with a sword still keeps that of his character without destroying it all too well. Plus, if you're going to be honest, dragon witches in the world of Wistoria fits way too well if you think about it. So yeah, at any rate, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Long ago, the world was consumed by darkness. Beings of pure and utter darkness and malice basically ruled over humanity. But all that changed when the Magic Queen, the one that gifted humanity magic and even gave them the ability of knowledge, known as the Magic Queen Mercedes, gifted that of 5 powerful individuals, that of unique forms of magic. The magic that would basically create a barrier that would keep that of the evil beings away. These 5 beings, chosen by that of the queen herself, would be known as Magia Vander. And over that of their rule, leaving everything to them, new beings from other worlds began to appear as well, such as that of elves and the dwarfs, and even that of other, well, not as many other races from other worlds came to this world as well, like that of vampires and another race. A race from a world where they're persecuted, hated, and people forgotten the importance of their existence. These other races would be known as witches. But not just any witch. They'd be known as a special type of witch, which is known as the dragon witches. Dragon witches are, just as their name says, they basically have the abilities, powers, and strength of dragons, even able to use that of magic, since dragons are also able to use magic as well in their reality. In their world, the witches basically give birth, new life to that of dragons. However, that's not the case. They have to control, contain, and keep that of the dragons the dragon essence inside them in check. If not, it will basically consume them from the inside out and turn them into dragons. To withstand this and keep them from basically being turned into dragons, they must consume that of dragon meat or even monster meat as well. However, parts from a dragon are a lot more sustainable and able to keep them a lot more saner than normal. But another importance of that of these witches as well, they are the very reason the dragon star Varnir is the very world that they come from. And in every 100 years, a dragon star must be born. A strong, powerful, and basically determined witch must be the new dragon star to keep their world alive. However, that changed with the current dragon star when reaching their end. Instead of basically entrusting that of the next generation, the next witches to become the next dragon star, but instead refuse to allow that of their kind to basically become that of another world. So using what's left of the power of that reality to send them to another reality where the witches are able to live their lives freely as they see fit. Sure, the dragons within them still hold fear over them, but over time, and hopefully with help, these witches will finally be free of that of their impulses, their cravings, and the fear of becoming dragons themselves. And thus, the dragon witches now have seen themselves in that of a new world where everybody can use magic. However, the power of the dragon witch, the power of the dragons itself, is an interesting power. What would happen to this world and their very culture and identity if a male dragon witch was born? In a small orphanage in that of the deep in the woods lies that of one boy, a boy with that of spiky blackish blue hair, with that of circular frame glasses, who dreams of wanting to be something more, but mainly to want something more with that of the girl he loves. This boy is named Will Surfort, and the girl he loves is named Elfiria Surfort. On the very same day, both children were basically dumped on the same orphanage, always together, inseparable. However, there was always a difference between the two children. Well, Elfiria was basically, even at the age of 2 years old, was a prodigy at ice magic. She was already able to master, understand, and basically even create her own spells without even breaking a sweat. With everybody quite shocked at that of Elfie's talent. As for Will, on the other hand, he had a little bit of magic, actually. He could channel it, he can use it, but he can't mold it, create it, or basically alter it in any way he sees fit. That's because of one thing. He's considered to have no talent at all with magic. He can't cast or manipulate. He can't summon that of creatures, or not to mention, nobody knows what his element truly is. Sure, some mages in this reality can use that of multiple styles of magic and elements, but everybody has one element that they're born with and that they are basically good at. Will has none of it. As because of this, a lot of people have seen him as, well, worth nothing. But Elfie sees the potential in him. However, that potential shows even greater when, in fact, during one day when they're playing in the woods, a random dragon appears. As this dragon is too close to that of the orphanage, as the two were basically terrified for their lives, seeing that of the winged creature. As soon as it lunged for that of the two, Elfie, using that of her ice magic to send that of a barrage of ice shards towards that of the dragon. As it did ground, she was able to basically take its wings, keeping it grounded, but it was still raring to go to continue to basically devour the two as its lunch. But Will, not wanting to basically stand by and do nothing while the girl he loves is about to die or is fighting for him alone, as he would to fight by her side, stay by her side, as for some reason the dragon had that of a sword lodged into that of its, shoulder. As soon as it basically tried to lunge for them, and Will basically grabbing Elfie out of the way, dodging out of the attack, that's when the sword basically falls off. With Will seeing this, seeing the perfect opportunity, he soon basically lunges for it, with trying to stab that of the sword back into it, and hopefully to make that of a deeper wound to cause it to be in pain and run off. However, all it does was make it more angry, as it tries to lunge for Will again, with Elfie staying by that of Will's side, as on this very moment when she still had that of an ice spell raring to go, she touches Will's hand, whose grip was on that of the sword, but soon the sword begins to basically be coated in ice, alongside that of Will itself, with Elfie noticing this, realizing that Will's magic was more than that his magic was basically absorbing magic known as Weiss. With this magic power and that of the newly made ice magic sword, he soon lunges for that of the dragon, and with that of all of his might, he soon cuts right through it. However, the dragon did not just stop there, as it also still basically stabs Will right in the stomach, causing that of the 6-year-old boy to basically be flung back and dropping that of the newly made magic sword. With Elfie seeing this and panicking, seeing the boy she loves basically get mortally wounded, she begins to freak out. As for the dragon, even with all of its might, all of its rage, all of its hatred, it still continues to go after that of the two, no longer wanting to eat them, and now wanting just to end them. However, Elfie, not allowing that, as she also created that of her own ice type of spell, basically creating that of an ice spear that basically came up from the ground and soon skewers that of the dragon from chest all the way through its chest and back, causing that of a spray of blood. But in the process of this blood basically being spewed, a few drops of its blood soon got into that of Will's mouth. And because of doing so, it led to that of 3 things happening. First, a mark on that of Will's chest, basically looking like that of a crest, basically materializes over that of his shirt. With Elfie seeing that, couldn't help but be shocked, but in that led to another, that being Will's wound being absolutely healed. And the other, the one thing that actually catches Elfie completely off guard, a huge surge of mana coming straight from that of Will's body, making him completely almost feeling like it's absolutely and utterly suffocating for that of the young girl, causing her to basically step back from Will. Before then, the mana begins to stabilize, and soon Will wakes up and at a frantic, even causing that of his glasses to basically, be crooked, even though that they were already cracked a little bit, saying, What happened? What's going on? But then, Elfie, already looking on the verge of tears, basically glomps onto Will and cries, thinking that he's okay, that he's all right. Not really caring about what just happened, but only caring that Will is okay. With even Will having to hug Elfie just to comfort her as well. However, this incident would basically be the beginning. The beginning on how Will Surfort became a witch, a dragon witch. The very first male one in history. During the incident, however, it led to that of a mage in the area that was already hunting down the dragon alongside that of their party, saw that of Elfie's abilities with ice magic, and basically talking to that of their caretaker, being Ashley Surfort, as the man knew about that of Elfie's abilities and quite impressed on the potential she has, especially when she becomes of age, to send her to that of Red Garden Academy. Ashley, knowing Elfie's abilities, however, he wasn't going to basically force her to do this. It was always up to her and her choice alone. However, Elfie would agree only on one condition: to allow Will to come with her to that of Red Garden Academy. With the man actually quite shocked about this, wondering why, especially since he could tell that, well, Will has a lot of mana, and quite a bit, to be honest, but he doesn't seem like he has any potential of spell casting or even creating spells in general. Why allow somebody like him to go to Red Garden Academy? As Will is quite sent down by this. However, Elfie wouldn't budge. She wouldn't go to to Red Garden Academy unless Will is with her, no matter what. With this, the mage couldn't help but feel a little bit, annoyed by this, but he would at least try and pull some strings after all, and see what he can do for Will. As the reason on why Elfie refused this is because of their dream. Their dream ever since they were kids. Since reading about that of the Magiavanders, the two always dreamt of going to that of the tower, where the Magiavanders are known for, to become them, so they can see the sunset on top of the tower. Together, with that, they would always be together. And such as, during that of their first year at Red Garden Academy, Elfie was already well known, not to mention the fact that, once again, everybody knew about that of her spell to create that of ice clones of herself and to be absolutely autonomous of them as well. Because of that, she was already on the track to that of Magiavander without even trying. However, she wasn't willing to basically go to become Magiavander so soon. If anything, she was basically willing to hold out at least until Will had enough to graduate. However, Will was the one who convinced her to basically go on ahead of him. Not out of jealousy, not out of persecution, no. It's because as long as he knows that she's up there, it gives him a motivation, a reasoning to keep on moving forward, to get there even further, that the two of them could achieve their dream together, if one of them already has a head start. So in that case, Elfie already moves on ahead, already on the step of becoming a Magiavander, moving on to the college year. However, she doesn't leave Will without a present, and that being his signature goggles. And with that, their promise was set, as the two would always wait on each other. However, starting that as soon as that of Elfie left, that's when the entire school began to basically try and get Will to leave that of Red Garden Academy. Due to his lack of talent, lack of able to control his magic properly, and stuff like that, even though he has a huge amount of mana, he's basically useless in their eyes. The defective mage, as they like to call him. However, even though Elfie was gone, there were a few people that actually did care about Will. Not because of him, having no talent or anything, but because of his heart. That being that of three people actually. One being a teacher by the name of Varnir, A man with that of silverish white hair, with that of small circle frame glasses, wearing that of a green sweater, who's mainly in charge of written classes actually and magical theory. And the other teacher, surprisingly, is that of a dragon witch by the name of Professor Charlotta, a dragon witch with that of a bright red dress with that of a V shape that goes all the way down to that of her navel, but with that of, laces in the front, with that of orange reddish frills on that of her dress, and to that of hair pieces with that of her, lightish, bleach pink hair, and that of her staff that she carries with her, outside of that of her main weapon being a scythe. She's technically the teacher that allows that of students to basically descend into the dungeon. If you wish to go through that of the dungeon for that of, practice classes and that of, certain requests needed to go down to the dungeon, you have to go through her and her first. Basically, in her words, letting students to go down to get themselves killed just for pride or for credits alone is not worth her time. However, unlike that of the school, she's one of the oldest dragon witches of this world. So she is already aware that Will is a dragon witch, a male dragon witch at that. But she knows that Will isn't even aware that he is one, though. And in seeing this, she can't have that. A couple of weeks right after that of Elfie leaves and descends for the tower, and Will constantly getting bullied, and even some people basically expelling him from the school, Wartner was one of the teachers that basically made a case to that of head Mistress Cauldron about letting Will stay, saying that he has potential given his huge supplies of mana. However, Cauldron, on the other hand, saw another potential within Will, outside also being aware that Will is a dragon witch as well, as she offers that of a short sword towards Will, before then creating multiple fiery spell circles across that of the room, as Will pushes Wartner out of the way, slicing through the fireballs without even breaking a sweat. However, there was one fireball that Will didn't see coming, as it soon basically sends him flying. With Wartner saw this, saying, Headmistress, what are you? Within, she raising her hand, before soon Will gets back up, with only his uniform a little bit burnt. However, an attack like that, from that of somebody of her status, even that of a low-level fireball spell, could basically burn skin and give that of somebody third-degree burns pretty easily. But instead, the burnt skin on Will begins to regenerate and heal automatically, which is something that dragon witches are known for, high regeneration, due to that the traits of a dragon. With Wartner quite shocked, saying, that's impossible. Within, soon, even Will quite caught off guard by this, saying, just as I thought, the reason on why you truly can't fully understand your magic is because you are not a normal mage, young Sir Fort. Within, bringing the sword back to her, saying, you are a dragon witch. Within, Will's eyes widen in shock, as his eyes have been lifeless for the past couple of weeks since Elfie have left, and the school begins going against him. But right now, those eyes are looking still lifeless, but a lot more livelier than usual. Within, saying, it's true that dragon mages can use the same type of magic as we, but however, when it comes to channeling and crafting spell circles, it's absolutely different from ours. They can use the same spells, but different methods and a different formula style too. That's the very reason why you can't understand. Not to mention, A majority of dragon mages learn better when they're in the air as well. Tell me, have you always felt like you're missing out? Like you've always felt like you can fly or wish to fly? With Will hearing that, as always when he was younger, and even when he came to the academy, he always felt like flying, but he always felt like something was missing. Within, soon, Headmistress Cauldron saying, I have that of a recommendation. I'll ask for that of a commission from the dwarves in a couple of days or so to help you with that of your own broom, or give you that of something that can be used to help you fly as a dragon witch. But until then, you'll need to learn how to use your magic properly as a proper dragon witch. Within, Wartner still shocked by this, saying, the very first male dragon witch. It's never been heard of or ever been documented. To think that this is actually really happening. And Will is the very first to be one. As Warner still basically coming to this realization about that of his student that he's been trying to defend all this time. Within, Will saying, so I'm not going to expel you, young man. You wish to become a Magia Vendor, do you not? Then do so. Within, hearing that, Will nods, saying, then prove it. Prove that not only with your blade you can reach Magia Vendor, but show the world the power of the very first male dragon witch to everyone. Once you finally understand your abilities. Within, hearing that, saying, thank you. Before then saying, also, have you been craving meat by any chance? Saying, actually, a little, not as much, especially when it comes to dragon meat. Saying, so lesser cravings than that of normal dragon witches. That's to be understood. I see. This could be interesting. Wartner, within, him standing in place saying, yes, ma'am. You wish to document that of young Sir Ford's abilities as that of a male dragon witch. This would be your best opportunity to do so. With that, Wartner saying, thank you, ma'am. Not to mention, your personal tutor to help you understand your powers better. You can come in. As the doors swing open, seeing that of Charlotta, arrogant smile and all, saying, I see we're finally done here. Now then, let us move on quite quickly. Within, Wartner saying, Charlotta! With her basically walking past that of Wartner, as she being quite short, to be honest, given that she looks like a teenager, but she is literally 1,000 years old, before placing that of her index finger on that of Will's chin, raising it up, saying, I'm going to show you the true pride and power of a dragon witch, little Sir Fort. And to let you know this now, your modesty about being male means nothing to that of dragon witches. Within, Will couldn't help but feel like he's now thrown from the fire and now into the frying pan. And that frying pan has teeth. For the next few years, Will has finally started to understand his abilities as that of a dragon witch. The ability to fly, hover up into the air, and given that he's already a prodigy with a blade already, to fly while also wielding a sword in combat is basically makes him a monster in the air. As for magic, there are several forms of magic that dragon witches are known for, such as that of the regular spell casting, healing, and other forms of magic. But each dragon witch has that of their own personal affinity. They can learn other forms of magic, just like mages, but their own personal affinity, basically, they rely on the most. In Will's case, it's light. So he's more personally attuned to that of light magic. And the other form is not otherwise known as devouring. Devouring magic. Basically, your body, your arm, and certain parts of your body can take the form of that of a dragon, mainly a dragon head, for devouring and basically eating, well, dragons and even monsters themselves. Turns out, dragon witches can basically devour and eat that of the traits of monsters within the dungeon, or even outside of the dungeon as well. By just devouring at least a piece or even the entirety of that monster, they can learn new spells, abilities, skills, and even amplify their own magical power, physical power, and even resistance to that of magic and physical attacks as well. Plus, there are even techniques when learning how to devour too. It isn't just, well, full on bite down, eat, and all that stuff. Will has found out ways to manipulate his devouring attack. Like, for example, he has a way to basically devouring enemies from long range, short range, able to use devouring for that of AOA, for that of, well, area effect, by basically devouring multiple enemies all at once, and even using that of devouring as that of a shield to basically absorb and basically tank attacks as well. Due to this, Will has basically been seen as that of a genius when it comes to, well, thinking outside of the box when using that of his attacks in devouring, to make up for the fact that, even though he's now learned and found a way to control his magic properly, it's still not on the same level as all the other witches who had years to basically, well, develop that of their magic properly. Not to mention, there's also the true form of dragon witches, to rely on the power with the dragon's power within them, otherwise known as dragon power transformation, as they become a half-human, half-dragonoid hybrid, with parts of their body basically growing that of dragon scales, with their magical power, physical power, speed, defense, and both resistance to magic and physical power and physical attacks all basically increase, even basically amplifying and learning that of their own unique magical attacks. For example, and not only that, it even creates that of their own specialized weapon, tailored to that of their own personal uses. However, Will hasn't unlocked his dragon transformation yet, even after all these years, to be honest. But even so, he's at least on a good track now. But because Will has spending more time with that of dragon witches, it's led to that of certain rumors that guys like to spread, and even some girls like to say that dragon witches are easy to get with if they're basically lowering their standards to be around somebody like Will, to be honest. And because of this, it led to at least some dragon witches basically calling out and basically calling regular mages that of pathetic losers that had to basically make up rumors to make themselves feel better. So yeah, the tension is now getting pretty high now across the school, but even so, it's not too bad. And to be honest, Will's time at the academy's improved since being around the witches. So to be fair, he's found a place where he belongs in the academy. But his main goal, to become Magia Vander and to be by Elfiria's side more than anything, that's the thing that keeps him going. That's the thing that has him always looking up to the tower more than anything. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. So, how did you guys like this? You think I did well with including that of the dragon witches from Dragonstar Varnir? Or do you think I basically shot myself in the foot to make it work pretty well? You guys tell me in the comments below and to see if I can improve a little bit. At any rate, also, I plan on adding at least a few Dragonstar characters, mainly a few of the witches, into that of this what if, to be honest. to make things a little bit more interesting, in my opinion. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to get your date my videos up with the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my other channel, my side channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below. Not to mention, if you guys have a what if that you want me to do, I can do it as out of a one shot by you guys donating into that of the comments below. And $5 or more, I'll do a what if of your choice. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, know, but y'all, take care. Thank you so much for watching and staying to the end of the video.
But there's still so much on my love channel.
That's right, such as my other what if content and the most recent what ifs as well.
Not to mention his playlist, where you can watch all of his other what ifs.
Which, all said and done, this is Leon.
And Shiro.
And you're watching Leon Mookie.